Most people believe that building wealth requires a massive starting capital, a stroke of unbelievable luck, or abandoning your deepest spiritual values to chase cold, hard cash. But today, I want to share with you something entirely different, something rooted in timeless wisdom that has guided generations of successful families through every economic shift in human history. When you look at Jewish millionaires and billionaires, people who built enduring legacies from absolute scratch, you notice something fascinating about how they treat their very first $1,000. It is not about how much they have, but how they respect, allocate, and bless that initial seed capital. In the next few minutes, we are going to explore the ancient principles of wealth creation that transform a modest sum into an unstoppable engine of abundance without ever compromising your integrity, your peace of mind, or your faith. Throughout history, societies have risen and fallen on the tides of economic speculation, yet families anchored in ancient covenantal principles have consistently weathered every storm, preserved their capital, and multiplied their resources across centuries by adhering to fundamental laws of stewardship and growth. Welcome back to our channel. I am Rabbi David, and for years, people have asked me how ancient tradition and modern financial success intertwine so seamlessly. The truth is, wealth in our tradition is not viewed as a distraction from spiritual life, but rather as a sacred tool for good, a responsibility entrusted to us by the Creator to elevate the world around us. When you hold your first $1,000, you are holding a microscopic reflection of your entire financial destiny. Most individuals make the critical mistake of viewing this money as disposable income, something to spend on temporary pleasures or impulsive purchases that vanish by the weekend. But those who build lasting empires view that exact same $1,000 as a living seed, something that must be planted with intention, guarded with wisdom, and nurtured with discipline so that it multiplies beyond imagination. When you adopt this mindset, every single dollar becomes a soldier in your army of productivity, working tirelessly to secure your family's future and expand your capacity for kindness. And for those who are truly serious about accelerating their journey, for a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah wealth system, the full architecture of ancient wisdom applied to modern financial transformation. You can find the link in the comments below this video, in the description, and if you are watching on my YouTube channel, you will also see a QR code on the banner of my channel page. Just open your phone camera, point it at the QR code, and it will take you directly to the school. The doors are closing soon, so do not wait. Let us examine how our patriarch Abraham approached resources when he was commanded to journey forth into the unknown. The text teaches us that he divided his camp, structured his assets, and never placed all his reliance on a single vessel. When you receive your first $1,000, the very first tactical move a Torah millionaire makes is division. In the Talmud, in Tractate Pesachim, our sages give us a brilliant formula for asset allocation that predates modern portfolio theory by millennia. They taught that a person should always divide their wealth into three parts. One part should be invested in land, one part in merchandise or business ventures, and one part should be kept liquid in their hand. Now, when you are dealing with $1,000, you cannot buy commercial real estate or huge inventories of goods, but you can honor the exact spirit of that ancient law by distributing your capital wisely across cash reserves, skill development, and productive assets. How do you apply this three-part rule to a modest sum of $1,000 in the modern era? You divide it with absolute precision. $300 is set aside as your cash reserve, your absolute safety anchor that prevents panic in times of unexpected emergency. Panic is the enemy of wealth because when you are terrified, you make poor financial choices driven by desperation rather than clarity. Another $300 is dedicated directly to income-generating skills or micro-investments, tools or books or courses that elevate your earning capacity in the marketplace. And the remaining $400 is deployed into a tangible asset or productive venture that begins working for you 24 hours a day. Notice what happens psychologically when you do this. You are no longer just a consumer holding cash burning a hole in your pocket. You are an institutional portfolio manager overseeing a sovereign fund, even if that fund is currently small in scale. There is another dimension that secular financial advisors completely miss, and it is the absolute cornerstone of Jewish financial resilience. That is the practice of tzedakah, righteous giving. People often misunderstand tzedakah as mere charity, something you do out of leftover guilt when you have surplus funds. But in our tradition, the word tzedakah comes from zedek, which means justice or righteousness. It is not an optional gratuity, it is an obligation of cosmic law and societal harmony. When you take a portion of your first $1,000, even a modest tithe, and direct it toward relieving suffering, supporting education, or building community institutions, you are activating a spiritual partnership with the Creator of the universe. The prophet Malachi tells us to test the Creator in this very matter, saying, "See if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." Millionaires who practice this understand that giving is the ultimate liquidity event, returning dividends in ways that balance sheets can never fully measure. Consider the way we view time and compounding in our tradition. Modern culture worships instant gratification. People want to get rich overnight through speculative gambles, meme stocks, or high-risk schemes that promise the world but deliver utter ruin. But if you study the history of successful Jewish business families across generations, you find a profound commitment to patience, steady cultivation, and generational thinking. When you have $1,000, you must resist the siren song of get-rich-quick shortcuts. Those shortcuts are designed by architects who want your money transferred into their pockets. Instead, adopt the mindset of the farmer. A farmer plants a seed in the soil and does not dig it up every afternoon to see if it is growing yet. He waters it, protects it from pests, trusts the natural laws of growth, and waits patiently for the harvest. Your first $1,000 is your first seed. Treat it with the respect of a farmer who knows that today's small seed is tomorrow's mighty oak. Another vital lesson embedded in our ancestral wisdom is the profound danger of debt. King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, wrote in the book of Proverbs that the borrower is slave to the lender. When you are starting your financial journey with $1,000, taking on high-interest consumer debt is like trying to run a marathon with heavy iron shackles locked around your ankles. Many people make the grave error of using their initial cash or credit to finance liabilities, things that lose value the moment you take them home. A future millionaire looks at debt with extreme caution. If they borrow, it is strictly operational debt used to acquire income-producing assets that pay off the loan themselves. With $1,000, your rule must be absolute. Do not spend a single penny on things that do not pay you back, either in knowledge, health, or increased financial return. Master the art of living slightly below your means so that your surplus can compound unchecked into true freedom. Let us talk about the currency that transcends paper money entirely: your reputation, your name, and your integrity. In Pirkei Avot, The Ethics of the Fathers, we are taught that a good name is better than all the riches in the world. When you are building a business or starting your investment journey with a small amount, your word must be your bond. Secular business often operates on cutthroat tactics, deceit, and exploitation of the vulnerable. But Torah millionaires know that true, lasting wealth is built on trust, honesty, and fair dealing. If you cheat someone out of $10 today, you close the door to $10 million tomorrow because divine providence operates through human networks of trust. When your business partners, customers, and suppliers know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are scrupulously honest, doors open effortlessly. Capital flows toward integrity like water flows toward the lowest point. Guard your reputation as your most valuable intangible asset. Furthermore, Jewish culture has always placed an extraordinary emphasis on continuous learning, questioning, and intellectual growth. The Talmud is not a static book of laws. It is a dynamic, multi-generational debate arena where every perspective is examined, tested, and refined. When you have $1,000, one of the smartest allocations you can make is investing in your own cognitive architecture. Most people stop learning the day they graduate from school or university, and then they wonder why their income stagnates year after year. A millionaire rabbi understands that your brain is your ultimate economic engine. If you upgrade your financial literacy, your understanding of human psychology, your negotiation skills, and your grasp of market dynamics, you multiply your earning power exponentially. Spending a fraction of your capital on masterminds, mentorship, and profound books yields a return that no stock market index can ever match. No person succeeds in isolation. If you look at thriving traditional communities around the globe, you see dense networks of mutual support, interest-free loan societies known as gemachim, and collaborative business hubs where entrepreneurs lift each other up. When you are handling your first $1,000, you need to surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, strategies, and growth rather than people who gossip, complain, and consume trivialities. Iron sharpens iron, as the proverb tells us, so one person sharpens another. Find mentors who have already walked the path you wish to travel. Listen to their warnings, study their failures, and adopt their mental frameworks. Often, having access to the right mentor can save you years of painful trial and error, preserving your capital and accelerating your ascent toward true financial freedom. As we continue this journey together, I want you to visualize what happens when you combine ancient spiritual discipline with modern financial execution. You stop viewing money as an emotional trigger of fear or greed. Instead, you view it as a neutral instrument, a sacred paintbrush given to you by the Almighty to paint a masterpiece of generosity, security, and impact. When you respect the first $1,000, the universe begins to trust you with $10,000. When you manage $10,000 with wisdom and integrity, you are entrusted with $100,000 and eventually with millions. This is the staircase of abundance. Every step requires mastery of the previous level. Do not despise small beginnings, for the prophets remind us that rejoicing in small beginnings opens the gateway to monumental victories in every area of life. Another crucial principle passed down through generations of astute merchants and scholars is the art of diversification and opportunity recognition. When wealth begins to accumulate, even from humble origins, the inexperienced person often puts all their eggs in one basket, blinded by the excitement of a single trend. But ancient wisdom teaches us to spread our efforts and resources across multiple streams of income, ensuring that if one channel faces a temporary drought, other streams continue to flow abundantly. Your first $1,000 can be split not only in its initial allocation, but in how you explore different avenues of earning. Perhaps a portion goes into building a digital skill, another portion into a small e-commerce venture, and another into financial education. By diversifying your early efforts, you build resilience against economic shocks and position yourself to catch winds of opportunity from unexpected directions. Moreover, we must address the emotional relationship we hold with wealth. Many people carry deep-seated guilt or anxiety regarding money, believing that wealth is somehow incompatible with spiritual purity or piety. This is a profound misconception that contradicts the entire narrative of our heritage. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and King Solomon were immensely wealthy individuals, yet their wealth never compromised their spiritual standing. Rather, it magnified their ability to feed the hungry, support scholars, and build sanctuaries. Money is neither moral nor immoral in itself. It is an amplifier of human intent. If you are generous with little, you will be generous with much. If you have a compassionate and ethical heart, having more financial resources simply gives you a larger megaphone to spread kindness and uplift those in need. Therefore, heal your relationship with money, release any feelings of unworthiness, and embrace prosperity as a sacred vehicle for good. Let us also reflect on the importance of diligence and relentless consistency. Brilliant ideas and grand strategies are worthless without the daily grind of disciplined execution. The sages taught that it is not upon you to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to desist from it. Every single day, you must take small, deliberate steps toward your financial goals. Whether it is reading 10 pages of a business book, reaching out to a potential mentor, reviewing your budget, or refining your product or service, consistency compounds just like interest. When you treat your financial life with this level of unwavering dedication, momentum builds naturally. Your first $1,000 is merely the spark that ignites the engine, but your daily habits and persistence are the fuel that keeps it burning brightly through every season. Furthermore, we must explore the concept of gratitude, known in our tradition as hakarat hatov, recognizing the good. When you look at your first $1,000, do you look at it with scarcity, complaining that it is not $1 million, or do you look at it with profound gratitude, acknowledging that every great fortune begins with a single, well-tended spark? Gratitude changes the frequency of your heart and opens your eyes to opportunities that cynical minds completely overlook. When you express genuine appreciation for the resources currently in your possession, you signal to the Creator and to the universe that you are a reliable steward ready for greater responsibilities. Wealth does not flow to those who constantly lament what they lack. It flows to those who masterfully cultivate what they have been given. Let us examine how generational vision shapes financial decisions. In many cultures, financial planning stops with retirement or at most the lifespan of the individual. But Jewish tradition teaches us to think in terms of generations, planting trees whose fruit we may never taste ourselves so that our children and grandchildren can dwell in security and abundance. When you allocate your first $1,000, you are casting a vote for your family lineage. You are deciding that poverty ends with your generation, that financial illiteracy stops with you, and that a new legacy of wisdom, stability, and charity begins right now. This long-term perspective immunizes you against short-term market panics and speculative manias. In addition to generational thinking, we must consider the power of negotiation and communication in commerce. Our sages frequently engaged in deep analytical discourse, weighing every word and examining every nuance. In business, your ability to articulate value, listen actively, and negotiate win-win agreements is paramount. When you deal with your early capital, practice negotiating terms with suppliers, asking for better rates, and creating mutual benefit in every transaction. People often fail in business because they view commerce as a zero-sum game where one person wins and another loses. Torah wisdom teaches true commerce is collaborative and creates new value that lifts everyone involved. As we delve deeper into the mechanics of growth, let us examine the danger of emotional volatility in financial decision-making. Markets fluctuate, economies rise and fall, and unexpected challenges test our resolve. The person who panics at the first sign of trouble invariably sells at the bottom and buys at the top. Emotional stability is an economic asset of immense value. By anchoring your mind in spiritual truth and maintaining calm detachment from short-term noise, you protect your capital from impulsive errors and keep moving steadily toward your long-term destination. Moreover, consider the profound impact of intentional budgeting and expense tracking. A millionaire treats every single dollar with respect, knowing exactly where resources enter and where they depart. When you manage $1,000, tracking every expenditure teaches you financial discipline. It reveals leaks in your economic vessel that drain your potential before it can compound. By sealing those leaks and directing every surplus toward high-value assets, you accelerate your financial journey exponentially. In addition to discipline and budgeting, we must recognize the importance of adaptability and market awareness. The world around us changes rapidly, and rigid thinking can lead to stagnation. When you manage your initial resources, stay observant of shifting trends and emerging opportunities while remaining grounded in eternal principles. The successful merchant balances unwavering core values with flexible operational strategies, ensuring they can navigate unexpected economic storms without losing their way. As you look ahead to the coming weeks and months, I challenge you to take a complete inventory of your financial mindset and your current resources. Do not look at where you wish you were 5 years from now and feel discouraged by the gap. Instead, look at what is in your hands right now, even if it is just a fraction of that $1,000 mark, and treat it with absolute reverence and strategic brilliance. Plan your allocations, protect your reserves, honor your commitments to tzedakah, eliminate wasteful spending, invest in your mind, and surround yourself with righteous and ambitious counselors. You possess within you the spark of greatness and the legacy of generations of survivors, innovators, and builders. By applying these eternal principles, you are not merely building a bank account, you are building an eternal legacy of dignity, strength, and blessing. And remember, if you are ready to take this transformation to the highest possible level, the Torah Millionaire Business School is waiting for you. For a limited time, you can access the complete Torah Wealth System for just $299. This is the exact blueprint I have used to help thousands of people achieve massive financial and spiritual success. The doors are closing soon. Click the link in the comments, find it in the description, or scan the QR code on my channel banner right now. As we conclude our time today, carry these thoughts with you into your week. Treat your resources as sacred trusts. Honor your commitments with unflinching integrity, practice generosity as a pathway to abundance, and never stop investing in the magnificent mind the Creator gave you. May you see blessing, prosperity, and profound peace in all your financial endeavors, and may your prosperity be a vessel to bring light into the lives of everyone around you. Shalom.